Hello and welcome to another episode of Ladies Talking Business, the program where we make discussions about business a little less complicated. I am Irene Ubani. Today we'll be talking about branding as a business owner and what you should do to make your business stand out. Here with me in the studio is the CEO of Bubes Pap, Ijoma Ndukwe, who is popularly known as Wanya Kamu. She has literally redefined the ideology of pap through branding. Welcome to the show, guys. We'll be right back. Welcome back, guys. Hello and welcome to the studio, Ijoma.
Thank you, Irene, for having me.
Kamu, like everybody knows. That's a very distinctive name. All right. So really, in terms of branding, a lot of people probably do not feel it is very important as a business owner. But what exactly is branding and how important is it in today's very fast-paced market?
Well, Irene, the truth is, I say to aspiring entrepreneurs and small business owners like myself,
your business is not a small business.
Well, we are still classified under SMEs.
Okay.
You know, I say to us that from the very first day you start out to do your business, you already start to brand your business. Branding is all about the customer. It's not necessarily about the product. It's not even about the company involved in this product or in this business, as it were. Branding is intangible. It's not something you can touch. It's not something that you can see. It's not something that you can, handle, but you can feel it. It's not express. It's not explicit, but you just know that there is something about this business that either makes it stand out or makes it stay bland.
And then in terms of branding, right, does it have to be a very tangible product?
No, because you have personal branding. I mean, individuals brand themselves. For people in the entertainment industry, they are not selling any physical product, but they have to stand out as individuals, so that when you think about, so say for example, a Kim Kardashian.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? So that's a personal brand. That's a personal brand. It doesn't have to be about a product or a business. That's why I said it's a feeling. It's intangible. It's something that, as intentional as it is. So for a business where you see the logo, where you see the color, where you see the fonts, I mean, just like Plus TV, you know what I mean? So when I see the logo, I know that this is Plus TV.
Plus TV Africa.
As intentional as it is the most subtle and maybe the most valuable asset of any business.
And then what influences the choices of, you talked about logos and the rest of it right now, what influences the choices of the logo you would use? Does it really have any serious implication on how people view your product?
Yes, it does. Okay, so let's look at Coca-Cola, for example. Coca-Cola doesn't have any logo. Their logo is their font.
Come to think of it,
Exactly.
They do not have a logo.
Yes. So you choose what you want to make visible in terms of the ones that are visual. So your colors, your fonts, whatever it is. When you see, even your taglines. So MTN will say everywhere you go. It's all part of the branding. It's like, think of telecommunication everywhere you go and then think of MTN. So it's everything encompassing, but it starts with properly identifying who your customer is. When you properly identify your customer, because for you to set up a business, you're trying to solve a problem. So let's take Coca-Cola, for example. Coca-Cola is saying to you, when you want to quench your thirst, think Coca-Cola, right? So they begin to think mass market. What do they really care about? What do they care about, color, or do they care about the other things, that come with the business? So it's not just about the visuals of branding. It's the things that you do, like I said, intentionally, but very intangible, coming from the perspective of who really is my customer.
And based on what you just said, I can also say that it's dependent on what you as the owner of the product want your customers to see. Just like you saying that Coca-Cola does not have a a logo, as it were. The name is actually the logo, right? So I really love what Bubes Pap has done. I grew up saying pap as something not to be touched. I mean, this is something I would eat in a very transparent nylon. It wasn't even well shaped. But then you have changed my notion of what, you know, the whole pap thing. I would love to take Bubes Pap for all it's worth, right? But how has branding been able to help your business?
Okay, so you answered the question when you were talking to me about your, you know, perception of pap before now. I haven't changed anything in pap. There is no additive. There is no preservative. Of course, yes, we have the flavored ones, which out of our 7 variants in the market, there are just 2 of them, right? But what branding has done for us is to help us to stand out to people like you who would ordinarily not take pap. So let me take you back. I did not choose to like pap before I started selling pap. But because I couldn't explain to people like you, who are my, you know, my intending and prospective customers, that I didn't like pap, I had to find something, you know, to do. And that's brought about the flavored pap. It goes back to the customer. Ijoma, as a CEO of Bubes Foods, who are you trying to serve? I wasn't looking at serving the mass market. I was looking at serving an Irene who goes to work in the morning, comes back in the evening, really wants to have pap, but doesn't have the processing time. I had to make the product appealing enough for her to work into a store shelf or see the product anywhere and then go, you know what, I want to try this. Now, that is even different from product integrity and product quality, because all of those things, all I'm saying to you is when I attract you with the branding, which in my own case, I focused on the packaging. Right? So it's like when I attract you, I must also now make sure that my product is a quality product to keep you coming back and then to get you to tell somebody else about a product, and then that increases my customer lifetime. So your branding, like I said earlier, may be your most valuable asset because it gets the customer to you subtly. I'm not in your face. I'm not making sales and saying to you, come and buy pap, come and buy pap. But I'm just putting out the product, nicely branded, well packaged, and you're thinking, is that ice cream? Is that pap? What's that really?
You just want to have the pap, whatever it is.
Yeah, so
yes.
most people buy the product more out of curiosity than that they want to have the product. So, but out of curiosity, well, we know the phrase that says curiosity kills the cat. Huh? So out of curiosity, you buy the product and you find out that, oh, wow, okay, great. And you stick to it. Now, even if you don't stick to it, right, you would definitely tell somebody else. You would tell somebody else who is like you, who is my exact customer target, who fits into my exact customer profile. So you're having a conversation with a friend who also doesn't like pap in the way that it was presented before, right? So it's an important tool in word of mouth marketing. So it's making me spend less money, technically, you know, to reach my, you know, to reach my exact customer profile. That's the power of branding.
But how seriously do you think the Nigerian entrepreneur takes the idea of branding?
The challenge isn't really that the Nigerian entrepreneur doesn't take branding importantly or, you know, to be important. It's the fact that most people stumble into entrepreneurship. So what I would call accidental entrepreneurs. For someone like me, I've never had to do a 9-to-5. Right? So, yeah. You know, so I have always known that this is the path that I would do in life. Business was your thing. Yes, business has always been my thing. It's not about the product. Business is not about the product, but I've always known that I would own my own business and run my own business. So I've done things like... and
you've had a fashion...
Yeah, so I used to have a store, you know, that I ran for 8 years. I've done all sorts, trust me. So I've gone from learning how to make beads maybe some 12 years ago and selling beads and, you know, selling makeup, selling beddings, just anything for it to be that I was making money by myself, you know, before I started to do Bubes Foods. But most people, you know, are seeking jobs, and when they don't find the jobs, it's a case of, okay, so let me start to sell, or let me start to trade, or let me start to do this, or let me start you know, to find a way to fend for myself and support the family or whatever the case may be. So I call them accidental entrepreneurs. They are not as intentional as someone who sets out.
So they were not deliberate about, you know, starting up a brand for themselves.
You know, so because you're not deliberate, and if you followed what I've said about branding and it being intentional and it's coming from the place of your customer. So an accidental entrepreneur is not thinking about customer. An accidental entrepreneur is not most times also thinking about the solution that he or she is bringing to the table. At that point, the accidental entrepreneur is only thinking about, I need to make money to survive, irrespective of what. So it is not that they don't understand that branding is important, it's that they don't know that branding is important and should be taken seriously from the very first day of the business. And that's why you also would have some people want to start businesses and go, you know, so maybe 1 year, just preparing to, you know, get go and get running, because you know that if you miss the mark the first time, most times, then it distorts the brand perception, because it's a perception, you know, of how does my customer think about me as a business? That's really what branding is about.
Okay, and how easy do you think it is to stand out here in our country, Nigeria, where we have issues of product replication? You've built your brand to a certain point, and then you go to the market and you're seeing a replica of your brand and almost the same logo. How easy is it to go about issues like this?
Okay, so I think the way I would look at it would also be the fact that most entrepreneurs focus on short term, because also we have a lot of accidental entrepreneurs. So you don't have a lot of people looking to build long-term businesses. You start out saying, I mean, even in my own case, right? I started Bubes Foods thinking, you know, I need extra funds for the home.
It was for money.
You know, it was for money, but because I had also run businesses and I am bent on improving, I'm a sucker and, you know, for knowledge and all of those things, it was a bit different. So from the get-go, I had the vision to export the product. So I knew that if I did not take my branding seriously, and branding now would be around the product, around the packaging of the product, then it wouldn't even stand in the shelves when I export. So from the get-go, I was, you know,
very
particular and very deliberate, you know, in the way that I run and handled the business. So because an accidental entrepreneur is thinking short term, not even thinking medium term, you don't have a lot of cushion to whatever would happen. You're focused, so you have a business person who doesn't even want to as much as share ideas, because they're thinking someone is going to replicate my idea. So you're focused on replication. You're focused on somebody's going to copy my product and copy my idea than on actually growing the business. Right now, in the packaging that you see the product, even with the bottled water, you know, or the Coca-Cola bottles, you will see that after a few years, they will change. Something, they may change something. It could be anything. It could be a design, you know.
I mean, now you have the luxury to have your name on
you know,
it.
those kind of things. So just very little things. Do you think they just wake up and do those things? No. There are conversations around their copies, around the people who can bottle with the old bottle and sell to you. You know, I think I'm doing a lot of marketing for Coca-Cola right now this morning, but, you know, I'm saying that it's the same issue across board. So whether you're a small business or a big business or a multinational, you are always looking to, you know, put at bay the counterfeiters, right? So my take would be focus on your product. Focus on your business. People would always copy. And then if you talk about how do you stand out in a country like Nigeria, you have more people in America start businesses every day. Sometimes when I travel, I'm on the streets, say like a place in New York, you know, the Big Apple, where every door is a business, is a food, is a restaurant. You're thinking, how do these people stand out? But it still goes back to the customer. Who are you trying to serve?
Who is your customer?
Who is your customer? Who is really your customer? You can't serve everybody in the market. Nigeria, we're almost 200 million people.
Fairly.
Right? Going by statistics. Bubas Foods can't take care of that market.
So just create a niche for yourself and stick
just
to
and
it.
stay on your lane. It will be folly and foolishness on my part to begin to worry about, oh no, I want to grab all the market share when I haven't even satisfied my customers who want the product. I can't even meet up with the demand because, you know, as a growing business, you've got your challenges and you know, all whatnot. So I would say that the issue is not about replication at the very beginning. It's about staying focused.